Ten,
Stand by
nine,
to take studio.
7, 6,
Stand by
5,
camera 1, mics 1 and 2.
3, 2, 1.
Take studio.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of MCTV News. I'm your host, Damien Williams.
And I'm Mark Allado. On today's show, Weston Stevenson brings us a report on the infamous event known as Skills Alberta. Chvojka shows us her report on the Wizard of Oz play presented at Primeau. Pelletier and Farough will be presenting the video they had produced during Skills Alberta. Damien Williams gives us the details on the MCHS weight room. Jillian Andrews will be showcasing her trailer on the play known as Booby Trap. And lastly, I'll be giving you insights on a Construction 9 class. Make sure to stick around for a look at our upcoming weather forecast, weekly announcements, and an interview with our librarian, Matthew Pohl. But first, here's our top story.
Skills Provincials is a highly prestigious event hosted in Alberta. Our skilled reporter, Weston Stevenson, went to the event to produce a report on this intense competition between the talented individuals throughout Alberta.
Today at the Edmonton Expo Centre, it is Skills Alberta, a competition where students get to show off how good they are at certain classes that usually have something to do with a trade. And some people who had something to do with organizing some of these events were willing enough to share what they are doing here and what makes it important to them.
I volunteer at Skills, and I think it's really important because Skills is an area where students and current tradespeople can come and check out our trades, see what it's all about, push themselves, test themselves to the limit under strict time restrictions.
So this is the high school skills competition this afternoon. They have a 3-course menu that they're going to be putting together, consisting of an appetizer with risotto. They're going to make a pizza as well as an Italian-themed dessert. I think the culinary arts is incredibly important. People need to learn how to cook. The industry is always looking for skilled cooks to work in restaurants and hotels and camps. There's a tremendous demand.
Competitors in this event compete in about 7 or 8 different photographic challenges. We also have students undergoing photojournalistic projects where they go around the event site here at the Skills Provincials competition and photograph other competitors in action.
As well, there's also stations placed all around the event called Try a Trade stations. At those stations, you get to try out certain elements of a trade that would be useful for you if you decide to go that route in the future.
And here in the plumbing, we make hula hoops, and we get them to put rings on the hoop and then insert a brass coupling and push them together, and then we get them to use a crimping tool. Even plumbing, when you to start your own business or you go to work for somebody else, you have all these little things that you already have learned. Hey, this is how you put a water line together with the crimping tool and a couple of couplings and a brass, and that's, you hook up your sinks and your basins, and it's really important. It's just an early start for the students to get a head start.
As you can see, Skills Provincials seems to be a very large competition. Our school, MCHS, sent 11 competitors there, and 2 out of the 11 both won in culinary arts. Tia Malkovich won gold, and Dakota Himshoot won silver. Skills next year should be pretty interesting. For MCTV, this is Weston Stevenson.
Lately, during this week, things have been getting pretty cloudy with a little bit of rain, but hopefully, things will start to heat up more for us. Our weatherman, Pelletier, is here to bring you insight on the current and future weather.
Thanks, Mark. Let's take a look at the weather across the country right now. Up in Whitehorse, we've got some showers at 13 degrees. Over in Yellowknife, it's 17 degrees with partly cloudy conditions. Then down in Vancouver, those same partly cloudy conditions at 18 degrees. Regina has a mix of sun and cloud at 13 degrees, and Winnipeg is matching that 13 degrees, also partly cloudy. Now let's take a look at the eastern side of the country. Up in Iqaluit, it's a mix of sun and cloud at 2 degrees. And then down in the Toronto, Montreal, Halifax area, things are looking really nice and warm. Toronto at 26 degrees and very sunny. Montreal also sunny and at 25 degrees. Halifax at a really hot 28 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. And St. John's is probably a little jealous right now because they're only at 8 degrees. Now let's take a look at our conditions across the province. All right, so up in high level, we're at 20 degrees, partly cloudy. Fort Mac is at 13 degrees, partly cloudy. Grand Prairie, 19 degrees and partly cloudy. And then over in the middle, lower part of the province, it's looking like we're getting some rain. Edmonton is at 12 degrees currently. And let's take a look at our current conditions. Currently, it is 9 degrees with winds going 12 kilometers an hour north. Sunrise at 5:20 and sunset at 9:43 p.m. So we are getting those longer days right now. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. All right, so things are looking like we're gonna have a nice kind of moderate week. It is gonna be a little bit rainy during some parts, but overall, things are looking pretty nice. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks, Avery. Wizard of Oz can be considered as one of the most iconic movies of all time throughout the late 1930s and 40s, and GHP has worked hard into recreating it into a play. Today, Sophia Chvojka will be bringing us this report.
This year, École George H. Primeau Middle School held their own production of The Wizard of Oz. Many students came together with their director to put on the show, which means something different to each of them.
The Wizard of Oz is about a girl who travels through a tornado and ends up in this wonderful land of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz is a lot about finding who you are, I feel like, and it's kind of going on an adventure, and you can't necessarily go on that adventure by yourself.
The Wizard of Oz is about Dorothy, who got carried into the cyclone and landed in this Oz land filled of many different creatures, and then she finds many of her new best friends.
In order to put on a good show, there must be meticulous planning, and for this cast, that included many opportunities for students to play different roles.
We decided to have 2 casts this year because we wanted to give more opportunity for people to perform. So we had 2 main casts, and then we had a couple. So then when the cast wasn't performing the first day, then they were doing the ensemble and vice versa.
There's about 20 kids in our cast, and most people play more than one role.
There was double casting. There's 2 scarecrows, 2 everything. Basically, it's 2 nights, so the cast kind of switches around.
Along with acting, there are many parts of a show that must come together before opening night. One of these aspects is costumes.
We had a friend of Miss Plastic's sew them for us.
Some of them were made by a friend of mine, some of them were bought, and some of them were just made.
Some were made, some were ordered, some were asked around, and some people just had to use what they had at their houses.
Another important piece of the show are the sets, which brought the audience members into the whimsical world of Oz.
Miss Plastic's family, they all came together. Some backstage crew worked together.
A lot of hours, a lot of painting. Some of these sets are from previous shows that they've done, and we've kind of just painted over them.
In order to pull off a show, everyone must work together and practice very hard to produce the results they hope for.
It was a lot of work, but we all came together and put it together, and it's an amazing show.
There was a lot of work put into this, and some of these actors have never acted in their life. They've never been a part of a show, so the fact that they're coming out here is really something amazing. And a lot of them have transformed into these actors, and it's been great to watch.
With hard work and dedication, the cast, crew, and director of The Wizard of Oz put on a wonderful show full of tin, courage, and friendship. For MCTV News, Sophia Chvojka reporting.
Here are your school announcements for Thursday, May 23rd. Attention all students who are taking work experience. The work experience booklet you received needs to be handed in. Attention grads, if you are interested in attending a bowling trip to bond with fellow grads and have fun at the end of the year, please sign up by Student Services. Please stop by Student Services to sign up. The 3rd Annual TP Summit, the First Nations Health Consortium, has announced the 3rd TP trip on July 29th through 31st. It is for those aged 16 to 25 across Alberta. Wonder Wardens Camp. This camp is for girls aged 16 to 18 of age. This program is meant to educate girls on a career as a fish and wildlife officer. See Student Services for more information. For these and all other school information, keep connected by listening to the daily announcements logging onto the school websites at www.mchs.gsacred.ab.ca or by following the school on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. As well, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching MCTV Morinville.
Coming up next, we have a video produced by Pelletier and Farough for the recent Skills Alberta Provincial Video Production Competition. Students were assigned to produce a 2 minute and 15-second video based on the prompt, Sustainability in the Trades. Let's take a look, shall we?
Hi, I'm Bree. I consider myself a lover of the environment. I'm super conscious about my impact on the world. I mean, I recycle. But what if that's not enough? What more can I do? Psst. Psst. Over here. What is this?
I'm your personal, portable skills tour guide, here to show you all the opportunities the trades have to offer.
But I don't want to go into the trades. I mean, they're so bad for the environment.
Are you sure about that? Take a look around, and you'll find that the trade industries are full of eco-friendly innovation.
How could any of these industries be sustainable?
Let's ask the experts.
So we're highlighting a project today where we're spending just over $10 billion Canadian to move our operations to net carbon zero. And it's 5 to 6% of Canada's total commitment under the Montreal Protocol for carbon dioxide reduction.
Okay, I see your point. But what about the fashion industry? They create millions of tons and waste a year.
I found this.
Not again.
Sustainability has really become a little bit more focused on technology and the kind of designing process. With our 3D technology, you don't have to use fabric to do those samples, so those samples aren't being made and then thrown off to the side. They're actually going right into production. So
look, I do see the progress we've made, but what about the industries that still need to change? What about moving forward?
One moment.
You don't need that shiny thing to be more sustainable. It's just about, again, making smart decisions. Can we reuse something? Can I, get more use out of something before I have to go and replace it?
So I can find a job in the trades without feeling guilty?
Correct.
I should still recycle, right?
Also correct. Ha.
Welcome back. Here with all the recent sports updates, including NHL scores as the Stanley Cup playoffs start to heat up more. In addition to MLB and NBA briefs is our very own sports reporter, Elizabeth Nelson.
Thanks, Mark. As the conference finals begin within the NHL, we had our first game with Florida against New York. The New York Rangers lost at home base to the Florida Panthers with a score of 3-0. Similarly, in the NBA Conference Finals, the Dallas Mavericks conquered the Minnesota Timberwolves with a score of 108-105. In the MLB yesterday, Toronto Blue Jays beat the Chicago White Sox in an exhilarating game with a score of 9-2. As well, the Atlanta Braves destroyed the Chicago Cubs with a score of 9-2. Washington beat Minnesota in a close game of 3-2. The Guardians doubled the Mets with a score of 6-3. And lastly, the San Diego Padres beat the Cincinnati Reds in a close game of 2-1. Coming up next, our very own host, Damian Williams, brings us over to MCHS's gym to explore our weight room.
Today, we're here in the MCHS weight room asking Mr. Lassard and other members the steps required in getting a membership at the MCHS gym.
So first thing is they got to get parent signature on a permission form, and then after that they go through a safety orientation. So I'll do safety orientations at the beginning of the year, just kind of teach them how to use the equipment.
Another question a lot of people have about weightlifting is how does it affect your performance in sports?
Just to develop the strength in your core and develop overall strength is very good, advantageous to playing sports.
I think it really helps with athletic ability and overall strength that you need to help with your sports and your,
I've noticed a lot of changes in my upper body, and my legs and stuff are all becoming stronger, and I feel more explosive. Lifting weights definitely affects sports. It gives you more strength, it gives you more agility, makes you overall feel better.
You don't want to get too bulky where you're you can't play a lot of sports that require movement if you're too bulky.
Yeah, I heard about it. I think cardio is great. Bunch of new cardio bikes should get the boys jacked. Yeah, it's a great cause. great thing.
And that's all you need to know about the MCHS weight room. This is Damian Williams from MCTV News, signing out.
Welcome back. Every May brings longer days, warmer weather, and track season back to MCHS. This week, the school has been very busy with both grade 9 track meet and the zone track meet for high school students. In studio today, we are pleased to welcome Coach Mr. Pohl, to bring his take on the 2024 MCHS Track and Field season. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Damien.
Hello. So, what events have you prepared our high school track students for?
I did a variety this year. I was helping out with the shot put, discus, high jump, long jump, triple jump, as well as hurdles.
Okay. Hurdles is something I've never really seen before. Yeah. What have been your expectations for this year's high school track athletes?
Well, I've been quite impressed by the older students. They've been helping out the younger students a lot. And we have like a lot of grade 10s involved this year. So like I think we have like a bright future at MCHS for track.
That's really cool. Why did you decide to coach track and field here at MCHS?
Well, I think it's at this time of year, it's nice to get outside. It's like different students as well. Some people I don't see very often in the library. And it's cool to see them progress. Some people, it was like their first year out this year for trying an event. And then at the zone championships there, a couple of them won. So really? Yeah, it's really cool. Lots of improvement I saw this year.
And then finally, before we wrap up your interview today, what do you find is the most enjoyable part of coaching track and field?
Yeah, I think it's that improvement you see with the students, and then also, yeah, them working together. Especially with hurdles. Some students, there's a couple students, they're saying like, ask them like, oh, how do you think you did on that one? And they're like, oh, I did terrible. Like I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And then you ask their friends and they're like, oh, that's amazing. I could never do that. Yeah. So it's just that getting that idea into your head, thinking that, yeah, I am doing well. I'm doing like 80% correct. And all the other students that are going to be at the championships, they're going to be doing like 70% correct. Yeah, so I think that.
Well, thank you for being here for this interview today.
Yeah, no problem.
Coming up next, Mark Allado covers our school's grade 9 construction class. He will be showcasing the new MCHS woodworking talent with his intricate report on Construction 9.
Today we're here in the MCHS construction class where students learn to build things guided by their construction teacher.
I like to teach my students about how to work with different kinds of materials. So we work with wood and metal. And what we basically do is we learn how to join those materials together.
Can you tell us about a project you worked on recently?
We did like a simple shelf that I put up above my bed.
Oh, we just finished a shelf, but some kid dropped it on the ground and it kind of broke, so.
Oh, damn, bro.
How does everybody stay safe in this classroom?
Students, when they come into my room, we always start with a safety unit, and they go through and do some notes and some questions on the safety there. And then I walk them through and I teach them the proper procedures and how to use all the machines. But students on a daily basis, like I always tell them, evaluate your own procedures and help each other out if you need help.
What cool tools or machines are being used in class, and can you describe them?
Table saw is the only one I've not screwed up on. You set your fence and then you set up your wood against it and you push it through.
And some that come to my mind is we've got a machine called a domino joiner, and the domino joiner joins these little, they call them dominoes, so it looks just like the game, but we use those little pieces to join two pieces of wood together, so we can make lots of stuff really quick with those.
Would you recommend this class to any students that are interested in taking construction next year?
Yes, the best grade 9 class.
If you're lazy, Mr. Coxon won't put up with it. It's like, you just gotta be a hard worker and not so lazy,
What's the most rewarding part of teaching construction to high schoolers?
The most rewarding part for me is when I see a student has finished the project and I get to see the absolute joy and excitement of being done that project and have done a good job on it, and the excitement in their faces.
And that's how our high school construction class gets things done. This is Mark Allado from NCTV News, signing out.
And that's it for another episode of MCTV News. Join us our next week when we will bring you insights about the preparations for this year's track and field season, As well, we will have a report on the foods program at MCHS, and we'll be showcasing Mr. Pete's band room. Finally, we will cover the recent World Down Syndrome Day. All this plus your weekly weather update and sports recap on our Wednesday, May 29th episode of MCTV.
So, any news for me?
I had McDonald's the other week. I had a 20-piece nugget with some habanero sauce.
Oh, is that like a new sauce that they like?
I don't know. It was my first time trying it. My friend recommended it to me. It was pretty good.
Oh, well, I haven't been to McDonald's in like half a year, so like...
That sucks. That sucks. Yeah, you should go more often.
Yeah, I will. From all of us at MCTV News, I'm Mark Allado.
And I'm Damian Williams. Thank you for tuning in.